I feel like there's so much to cover today. There's so much going on, and yet we probably won't get to almost any of it. Let me start with this, though. I'm outdoors. First outdoor podcast in a long time. I may have done it a few times, but I'm outdoors, so you might hear birds chirping, cars driving, Mexican music in the background. I don't know what you're going to hear. I don't apologize for that. I knew that was a risk, and I was willing to take that risk, and I'm sure that you guys are going to be okay with it. Thank you for being understanding. All right. Secondly, big news in my life, big Mike Herrera news. I'm back to coffee. That's right, back to coffee. I don't have a go-to coffee or anything like that, but the last couple days I decided I'm back on coffee. Why? Yeah, maybe we should talk about it. I've just been for a while thinking about changing up my food intake, the types of foods that I eat, my amount of alcohol that I'm drinking, things like that, right? Physical fitness, I talked about it last week and the week before probably. Fitness, just my toe has been broken. I haven't been as active lately. I've been kind of, I've been stretching, but I haven't been as active. So in my mind, I'm okay. Food can change. I don't have to walk around on food. My toe can be broken. I can still eat right. So I've just been thinking about this and that. And I kind of just came to the conclusion with coffee that I've been off caffeine for, I don't know, it was 2017, 18, 19, somewhere in there. I know it's a big window, but I don't really remember. It was around when we played the San Antonio Remember the Punks festival. We headlined this punk festival, and I remember during that show, I had a kidney stone, and it had been all week giving me hell at home, and had to show up, had to get on the plane. And so on the plane, I'm just like, I got up 9 times to go to the bathroom, 9 times to pee, because just, you have a tiny little bladder and you just can't hold it in. You got to go. You got to relieve the bladder. So we fly to San Antonio, we do this festival, and I'm jumping up and down. Boom. That night after the show, I pee at the hotel, and I had a feeling it was coming. So I peed, and I looked down. Sure enough, there's the stone. And I grabbed it and I put it on a piece of toilet paper, and I went across the street where everybody was at, Applebee's or something, I don't know what it was, some restaurant across the street from the hotel. The band crew was over there hanging, having a couple beers. And I go over there and I set the rock down on the table. I'm like, it came out. I did it. So that was really the reason, though, that experience, having the kidney stone, was why I quit caffeine. And the reason why I was quitting caffeine was I was drinking these Rockstar energy drinks, the blue can. It's like a blueberry, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, whatever. Drinking those every day. Sometimes I drink 2 a day. And an old RØDE from Warped Tour, he actually, I don't know if he passed away from this, but I had kind of heard that he had passed away from a heart attack. And I remember him drinking like 3 Red Bulls a day, just constantly drinking Red Bull every day. And all these things kind of were swirling in my head, and I'm like, I got to quit these rock stars. I got to quit caffeine altogether. And so I quit caffeine for, 7 years probably. And now I'm officially back, baby. I'm officially back. I've had a few sips of caffeine along the way the last few years, this last year especially, last year 2024, this year 2025. But for the most part, no caffeine and definitely no energy drinks. But I was listening to a lot of people talk about coffee. I read an article about coffee, about how it's just a wonder drug and it's really great for your brain. And I'm just like, man, why am I vilifying coffee when there's all these other chemicals and things that are just as bad, if not worse, for you? So let me think about this a little bit more. So I didn't just jump right back into coffee immediately. No, I thought about it for a long time, and I slowly would just take a sip of my wife's coffee. And this is exactly what my wife would order. It's a iced coffee latte, I think. It's an iced coffee with sweet cold foam, salt cold foam cream, something like salt cold foam cream. It's not super sweet, but it's got a little salt to it, and the foam itself has a little bit of sugar, I'm sure, but it's not really sweet like if you got a caramel or some sort of flavored coffee. It's not like that. It's more coffee. But this is a really solid drink, and my go-to, when there's not a whole lot of options, you can't go and order Starbucks. My go-to is just a straight black cold Americano, like just really, really straight and strong coffee. So I'm back on coffee. Seems like because I'm not working out as much, my toe is getting better, by the way. Got to knock on some wood. All right, there's a branch down there. There's a little stick of wood down there. I knocked on this. My toe is getting better, but I'm still not going to be running around in the next month. I'm going to be taking it easy on the foot. I'm still doing my push-ups. I'm doing my planking. I'm doing things to stay tight and stay not completely sloppy and a mess. I don't want to get big and fat. I don't want to nothing. I want to stay somewhat fit even when I'm not doing the full-on workouts because of my toe. So coffee was one of those things. I'm like, all right, this is going to be a new thing for me. And now I realize I've been talking about coffee for like at least 5 minutes. So it's great being outdoors. I love it. If you're not watching on the YouTube, if you're not watching the podcast, that's all good because not everybody can watch on YouTube. Some people need a podcast just to be on whatever they listen on, the audio version, and go about your day. That's cool. But if you have a chance, check out the podcast on YouTube. On my YouTube is Mike Herrera podcast. I guess it's just Mike Herrera video. Just search Mike Herrera, it'll come up. And I could use some subscriptions over there, so hit that subscribe button, that like, all of those things if you're watching the podcast on YouTube. I'd appreciate that. All right, you guys are the best. Let's get to some voicemails. It is what it is. Let's go. I don't know why I said it is what it is, but I did. All right, here we go.
Hey, Mike. Love the podcast. It's Sunny from Portland. Got 2 questions for you. First one, kind of random. Do you still got that Sunburst P-bass from, slowly going of the way of the Buffalo era? I love that bass, man. I know you're an Ernie Ball guy, but I also loved, it's pretty cool seeing photos of you with that bass as well back in the day. I live in the world of nostalgia, so there's that. And then the other thing, big question. Do you guys ever see yourselves touring nationally again, ever? Say, let's drop a new album and let's hit the road again, national tour with a couple cool bands, that is in line with that genre of music that you guys are putting out and whatnot. But anyways, I just saw some cool shows recently, some bands that haven't toured nationally in a long time. And I was thinking about, damn, that'd be cool to see my favorite band do a national tour again. So I get the Weekend Warrior stuff, flying out, playing a rad show here and there, emphasizing those shows. But there's something about national tours, man, when you hit the road with some other bands. And I thought it would be pretty cool to see you guys kind of in that environment again sometime. But thoughts? Anyways, appreciate you, man. Thanks for taking the call. And talk to you later. Bye.
Cool. Thanks for the call, Sonny. All right. Yeah, this is I'll go backwards on these answers. Short answer is yes. We have considered doing a full tour. We've talked about it as recently as this year. We've talked about it, but we were talking about it last year. We're talking about. I think it's something that'll happen in the future. It'll happen with the right release, the right lineup, of course. Because we probably will bring bands with us on the tour. But yeah, we definitely have been talking about a national tour at some point. Now, is that happening next? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, we definitely have a few things we are working on under the hood, but anything's possible. So yeah, great idea. That's always a possibility, and always was a possibility as our kids are getting a little older. Yuri's kids are a little older than mine. Mine are the youngest right now. So I don't think we'll be doing it this year, but it's possible next year. It's definitely possible for next year. All right. P-Bass. Yeah, your question was, do I ever play the P-Bass, or I'm not sure what the question was. Let me get back to it.
Hey, Mike. Love the podcast. It's Sunny. First one, kind of random. Do you still got that Sunburst P-Bass?
Oh, do I still have it? Yes. Yes, I still have it. That's a 1975 American P-Bass. I got it at Al's Guitarville in it's North Seattle. What do they call it? I don't know what the actual city is called, but it's just north of Seattle. It's called Al's Guitarville, and I got quite a few guitars from there. In fact, I think I bought one of my ex-girlfriends a guitar. Her name was Andrea. After that, I decided I'm never going to buy a girl a guitar again, unless it's my daughter, because I did get her a guitar. But the reason is because I realized once I gave her that guitar, I really wanted that guitar. Like, I really liked that guitar. And so it's like, man, why did I give it to her? Nothing against her. She's fine. But it was just like, man, I really wanted that guitar. Anyway, P-Bass, got it at Al's Guitarville. We were recording, I want to say it was Slowly Going the Way of the Buffalo. That was the first record I had this bass. And I could be wrong. Maybe I had this bass for Life in General, but I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure I was using an Ernie Ball Stingray for Life in General, and then for Buffalo I used the P-Bass. Now, I could be wrong. I don't know, but I definitely used the P-Bass for Buffalo for sure. You can see it in the photos, and that the tours that we did for Buffalo in '97, I was playing that bass. I think when we opened for the Sex Pistols at Bumpershoot in '97 in Seattle, outdoor show, big stadium kind of show, and I think I might have been playing that P-Bass, but I can't remember at this point. I still have it. It's at the studio. It's in a case. It's chilling. I still bust it out from time to time and play it and kind of just look at it, because it's got a lot of history. There's a lot of history with that bass. What I was saying is I had it in '97. I had it on the Bad Religion tour in Europe, and I toured with them for that. And that whole year I toured with that bass. And then I got endorsed by Ernie Ball, and that was when I switched back over to Ernie Ball and started getting them sent out to me, and I was playing them exclusively after that. But before that, I was a fan of Ernie Ball. I had an Ernie Ball. It was my first bass that I bought with my own money, without help from my parents, was a Ernie Ball's Music Man Stingray. Got it on layaway at American Music in Tacoma, Washington. I've told the story before, but beautiful thing, beautiful bass. I still have, I don't have that bass now that I think about it. My very first Ernie Ball Stingray, I loaned it to Gary, our former merch guy. He's a Texan. I loaned it to him. He had it in Seattle forever, and he stopped working with us, and it was years and years and years. And I was like, hey, someday I'll get it back. It's fine, whatever. And he came over and was hanging one day, and I was like, hey, where's my bass? I'd love to have that back sometime. I wasn't like, hey, where's my bass? But I was just like, hey, I want my bass back. And he's like, he kind of got like quiet, and I was like, what happened? And he's like, well, my former roommate took it. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I think he still has it, or he sold it, or whatever. I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, can you get it back? And he's like, I'll try. That was years ago, so I don't think that's ever coming back. I've had guitars stolen many times throughout my life, throughout my career. The one that hurts the most, I guess the one that hurts the most is that Stingray, only because of its sentimental value, because it was my first Stingray. The actual situation, like, it was my fault. If I really cared about that bass, I shouldn't have given it to Gary to borrow. And that's the thing, is I've done that so many times over the years. I'll just give somebody something to borrow, a guitar. I think Mike Moen still has one of my guitars. I sold him a truck, and I said, if you ever sell this, I want it back. Keep it in the family. I saw some other guy driving it years ago, and I'm like, what? He's a good friend of mine, so I didn't want to call him out and bust his balls. He's a little fragile, but I didn't want to bum him out by being like, dude, you were supposed to sell it back to me. I just, when situations like that happen, I just go, you know what? If it was really that important, I wouldn't have sold it to him, So it's my fault. I just blame myself. Always blame myself. That's it. That's my motto. It's my fault. I'll blame myself. So I don't blame Gary. I don't blame Moen. It is what it is. It's all good. And they're still friends. So I try my best not to hold grudges. Even Brandon from Tooth and Nail, I don't really hold a grudge. Now and again, if I really overthink about what he did, I might get mad again. But I would be fine hanging out with him, having dinner, doing whatever, hanging. So I try not to hold grudges. All right. Gary, you're off the hook. It's fine. You know what? It's funny. I don't think Gary's going to listen to this, but if he does, I'll be in trouble. He was looking for his hat. He left his hat at the studio, and I'm pretty sure it got thrown away. And instead, we're just like, we don't know where it is. But again, it's not my responsibility. There's so many things that get left and taken from the studio. Not only do people leave things at the studio, people will take things from the studio. I don't know if it's on purpose or if it's on accident or what happens, but things do walk away, and I have lost whole big pieces of gear. I've lost things and then found them again, so maybe they're not always lost. They're just, it's too much of a mess in there, and I can't find things. But my P-Bass, 1975, I still have it. I will never lend that to a living soul, ever. That bass will stay with me until I die. I didn't think of it until now, but that's what I'm saying. That bass will stay with me until I die. And then I will pick another bass, probably my turquoise that I still play live today. And I have a custom that it was based off of. Those two turquoise basses, I'm going to keep those forever as well, because one was the prototype for my custom Signature Series bass, and then the turquoise actual custom Signature Series bass was my first one. So I'm going to keep those, and that'll be a nice little piece of history. Now, the Punk Rock Museum in Las Vegas has one of my basses, the one that Fletcher smashed at the very final NoFX show in San Pedro last year. So that's kind of a cool little thing. And there's an actual, I think it's a red sparkle Music Man Stingray. It is custom. It's one of my custom basses, but it's not a Signature Series model. But that is in the jam room at the museum. You can go to the museum and actually play my bass. Yeah. And if you come to a show, you probably won't be able to play my bass, but one out of about 100,000 get to. Pretty amazing. All right, let's move on. Great question. Fun times. Next voicemail.
Hey, Mike, it's Trevor from Canada. I was just calling to ask about the relationship the band has with Five Guys Burgers and Fries. I noticed every time I go in, it seems like there's always a deep cut from the catalog playing on the stereo, and it's always good to enjoy a burger and listen to my favorite band. But I was just curious if there's some kind of business relationship or somebody at corporate just loves you guys. Anyways, thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Hey, Trevor. What's up, Canada? Shout out to all our Canadian listeners and friends. We love you. We love Canada. Not just neighbors, best friends. All right. Five Guys. Yeah, we love Five Guys, but there really isn't, that I know of, a deal or anything. I think somebody in marketing, somebody in their corporate office loves MXPX and loves punk rock, and they sent us a box of Five Guys swag. I've got a Five Guys hat. I've got Five Guys shirts, and they're actually pretty cool shirts. I actually like them. It's like, I actually gonna wear this now and again. But yeah, I think they just love us, and they've put, they put our songs on their playlists, and much loved Five Guys. I mean, what's to hate? Five Guys. We need the next burger joint. It's Five Women, or maybe it's a hot dog joint called Five Women. All right, not all my ideas are the best. Let's just put it that way. All right, moving on.
Mike, first of all, I want you to showcase a band. This is the bassist from Homegrown Punk Rock, Orange County. It's called the Signs of Summer, SINES of Summer, and it's called All Night. It's the jam. Secondly, I just wanted to tell you that I know that you have a broken toe. So for your broken toe, I think you should start rowing. You should use an infrared sauna. You should try red light therapy, and maybe, some restorative yoga, because that is like stretching, but in its best form. So yeah, Signs of Summer, SINES of Summer, and that's from Adam Lowerback. You need to listen to this. It's literally the jam of the summer. Okay, call me back. 909.
Okay. I'm not going to call you back, but thanks for the call. I don't want to dox you out there. So check it out. Homegrown. They used to tour with us all the time. We'd play shows with them. They'd open for us. They're great guys. Love all those guys. Johnny, Adam. So Signs of Summer, I will check it out. I just haven't yet. But I heard Homegrown's back. They've been doing a few shows here and there. So that's always exciting. That's fun. So wish Adam and the band the best. Love you guys. And restorative yoga. Yeah, what's funny is last week or the week before, when I was talking about what I do for my workout routines and stuff like that, I forgot to mention that I sometimes do yoga. I was in the yoga game with Tom Wisniewski. He does yoga more regularly than me, but he got me going, and I was going to yoga, and we would go to hot yoga and we would do these, like, I don't know what it's called, like 30 poses or something like that. You do like 30 poses, and it's about an hour, and it's over 100. It's like 100 degrees in there or whatever, and you feel like you're gonna die. You feel like I am gonna pass out because I can't breathe. But when you get through that session, you feel alive. You feel like you've cheated death, right? Like you've gone through the ringer. And I really enjoy that. So thank you for reminding me about yoga. Rowing. Now, rowing, I hadn't thought about that. And of course, I could just go to the Y and do rowing. Yeah, I used to row, and I wouldn't say I used to row all the time. I never had a rowing routine, but I row sometimes as part of, I'm going to check this out or whatever. But yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. I could do it with my toe being broken, get that workout going. Because even the elliptical, it's really not conducive for the toe, the broken toe. There's too much movement happening, even though you're not slamming down, running. I don't know if I mentioned this the last few weeks because we have been talking about fitness and stuff and physical health. I think I mentioned that I want to get back or more into bike riding because my son wants to ride bikes and the family could all kind of go ride bikes. I've definitely decided in my mind that one of the things I'm going to do when I get back to Washington is I'm going to buy a bike. I'm going to get a good bike that will last me 20 years or something, last me a while so I can go and ride with the family. And that's definitely part of the physical plan. Restorative yoga sounds perfect. Sounds up my alley. And I think the problem is I was thinking, oh, I need to go back and do what I was doing before with yoga, but there's different types of classes you can go to at the same yoga place, right? You can do a hot yoga, you can do a regular yoga, you can do a stretch yoga, right? Like I should probably just do one where you're just mostly doing stretching. I'll look into it. I'll ask Tom. Thank you for that advice, because that really that made me think about a bunch of possibilities, not just with the yoga, but even that red light therapy stuff, sauna. I have a red light therapy wand thing. I bought it for $250 used from a friend that happened to be a chiropractor. Like she had a business, but she was just like, I'll hook you up. I'll just sell you my old one for $250. I'm like, okay, all right. But I have one of those, and I was using that for my shoulder because I had gotten frozen shoulder over the pandemic. It was over the COVID pandemic, after all the stuff going on, and luckily because of the pandemic I recovered before we had any shows, so it worked out great and my shoulders are great. But I'd got that red light therapy wand for my shoulder. I don't even remember which shoulder it was. I think it was my left shoulder. And now my mom's using it because she had surgery on her foot last year, and so she's got it. But yeah, I think that's a great idea. So I'll start using that when I get back to Washington as well. I think my biggest problem is I absolutely loathe being taken out of my daily routine where I just need to get things done, whether it's writing songs, doing promo videos, coming up with graphics, whatever, writing copy, writing a blurb for somebody's story, right? So I get out of that when I have to do all these other things. I got to chill here and ice my foot, or I got to chill here. Like, who wants to do that? I don't want to do that. So that's honestly just my personal thing that annoys me about having to change up routines, having to find new things that help your life, help your body, and change is often annoying, right? But one thing that isn't annoying is changing back to coffee. Cheers to that. All right. I'm feeling good though. Brain-wise, now and again I get a little bogged down in my brain, a little foggy. I don't find that coffee fixes that, but maybe it does, and I'm subconsciously not realizing it. But with anything, I realize that if I'm going to make a change, it needs to be not necessarily a permanent change, but it has to be consistent. And that's I mean, I was hugely successful when it came to making a permanent change, or at least not permanent, I guess, but a change to quit drinking caffeine. I made that consistent. I consistently quit drinking caffeine. Now, over the years, 7 years later, whatever it was, okay, what can I do to change things up? I only eat this and this and this. And I'm like, well, if I eat less, that's good too, I guess. But I feel like I eat too much, and my wife's like, you don't eat at all. You only eat 2 meals a day. And even with that, I feel like I'm too full half the time. And it's funny because as a person, we all get cravings, right? We all crave to eat. We crave to snack. When you're bored, you want to snack. And so I'll find myself at 8 o'clock at night wanting to snack, wanting to like get a bowl of cereal or something. And now and again, I do that, sure. But I'm never hungry. I always realize, sometimes too late, you're not hungry. You're just bored, or you're just wanting to occupy your time and then move on. And so I realize, wow, it is so mental. The food game is so mental because I'm not full. Like I ate a breakfast today. I ate around 11 o'clock. Normally I eat around 11 a.m. breakfast. Now I realize because of my work schedule, I'm privileged in that way where I don't work on a normal 9 to 5 hour job. I can eat breakfast late and it's fine. But I think people can find ways that work for them in their job, in their routine, whatever it is. They can find ways to find things that work for them. But I just find I'm never hungry right when I wake up in the morning. I need time for my stomach to wake up, and I need time to like move around and get it flowing. And then I always start with vitamins and water, and then from there I'll actually eat. But and I know a lot of people can't handle vitamins on an empty stomach with just water, so be wary of that. But I can. It doesn't bother me. So once my stomach is awake, I can eat vitamins. It doesn't matter. And I know, here's the thing, you shouldn't just eat your vitamins. You got to put food on those vitamins. Otherwise, they're doing nothing, right? So you do have to eat those with food to supplement that. But 11 o'clock, I get up, I do my thing, and I'm working by usually noon or so. And, I'm getting up around, let's be honest, lately 9:30, but usually 8:30. When I'm in Bremerton, I'm usually up by 8:30, and it's 9:30 here in Waco because I'm staying up till like 2 o'clock in the morning, writing, talking. It's just a little different schedule. It's a later schedule, so I'm pushed later. Still getting the same amount of sleep, maybe a little bit less over here. But it's right now I'm just kind of wrecking my body in some ways just to get the songs written. It's in a lot of ways, when we are on deadlines, when we got a big project at work, we will neglect our bodies and our physical health and our mental health just to get it done. Just let's get through this, and then I will stop drinking coffee. Let's get through this and I will stop overeating. Let's get through this and I will start working out. Let's get through this and I will start sleeping better. So that's where I'm at right now with songwriting. Is I'm trying to balance getting it done and doing it in a healthy way. But I have those tendencies to push away our immediate needs for the immediate business side of the needs, and songwriting doesn't make any money. Like, I could probably never write another song in my life again and still be fine. As far as like I could work the band and go play and do this and that. It would be a different dynamic, but that would work, right? Putting out a new song doesn't automatically make you money. That's just not how it works. I write songs because I have to write songs. I mean, sure, maybe there's a world where I don't write another song. I can't imagine it. Is it because I love to write songs so much that that's what I want to do all day, every day? No. I don't love writing songs, but I do love succeeding at the process. I love the success of finishing a song. I love being in the middle of a song that I know is going to be good and finishing that song. Like, I love that process, but it's also hard. And like I said a few weeks ago, I was like, songwriting isn't hard. It's not hard physically, mentally. You're not about to, you're not getting shot at. You're not about to die. Like, you're just writing your thoughts in a musical way. And so I realized that, but it's still important enough to me to where I need to put everything I have into it. Maybe I feel better about it because I'm neglecting my other mental and physical needs. When you're working on something and you have to pee and you're just like, I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to go. And you're just like, okay, maybe you don't have that problem, but sometimes that happens because you're just like, I'm going to finish this, and now I'm about to pee my pants. So I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm saying that's a thing that happens. It's very, very real. Very, very real. All right. Thanks for the call. Let's do one more. One more voicemail for you.
Hey, Mike, this is Nate. My question this week is on skateboarding. I love skating myself, and I know that you said you used to skate. What's your favorite trick that you used to love to do back in the day? and also like favorite skate spot, favorite graphic. For me, I used still, kick flipping and just kind of doing like ground tricks. But want to know what your favorites were. And also, the ones that you have on the shop are awesome. Keep those skate decks coming. I love all those. Thanks, man. Bye.
Yeah, Nate, what's up? Thanks for the call. Skateboarding, yes. Once a skateboarder, always a skateboarder. I love it. I love skateboarding. I love the idea of it. I love doing it. It's so much fun. It's exhilarating. It's similar to snowboarding. When you're out on the snow, out on those hills, and you're just cruising, geez, you feel so alive. You feel so good. And skateboarding's like that. Skateboarding, you just feel alive. But so yeah, I haven't been skateboarding lately, my toe, but I was skating right before that. I was at the park and doing my promos for the skate decks and stuff. Love it. There's just something about skateboarding. I used to skate on tour. I remember I was in Lubbock, Texas. We were doing a show with Lit, MXPX Lit, and Real Big Fish, I think. And I was just skateboarding around downtown Lubbock all day long. Back before the shows weren't quite as a big deal, not quite as a big event. You could almost have a regular day before a show. Nowadays, and it's been like this for most of the years, but most of the time, on tour or not, a show day is all about the show. Like now and again, yes, there are pockets of other things that might happen. All right, we need to film this promo. Let's take an hour and go and do that. We need to eat. Of course, you got to eat. You got to do all your normal stuff. Got to sleep, eat, shower, get ready. But for the most part, like I am not doing things throughout my day because I'm going to be doing something very important, which is play a show. And so I don't know if it's a paranoia thing and it's just me, or if it's like this with a lot of creatives. But I can't do a lot. I can't do a lot of other important things the day of a show. And a good example of this would be like somebody that maybe can't relate to the show thing. Think of when you have an important phone call, like you got to call your parents, or you got to call your boss, you got to call your wife or your husband. Something bad happened and you got to make a call. You got to fire somebody, you're the boss, and you got to call an employee and fire them. It's like that in a good way, I guess, because a show is like a good thing, but there's also some dread that comes along with it because you don't know the future. It's like that fear of the unknown vibe, right? So my example is playing a show and not really being able to do much during the day before that show is equivalent to, I got to make an important phone call. You make sure you go into a quiet room where you're not going to be disturbed. You might, I don't know, if you have an important phone call, you might want to have a bottle of water or something, that you can sip on in case your throat gets dry. You need to cough. All I'm saying is everybody's had an important phone call or an important meeting or something that they've been sort of like foreshadowing, right, throughout their day. And okay, I'm calling this person at 3 p.m. and they spend their whole day thinking about that. If you can relate to that, that's what it's like to do a show and it's not like you're thinking about that the whole day. Like, oh, I got a show. No, it's not that. But it's, why am I here to do a show? What's being set up right now? The show. Why am I doing the sound check? The show. Why am I eating at this time? Because of the show. Everything you do is because show. Why am I going to the hotel? Oh, because I'm doing a show tonight. Why am I taking a shower? Well, because I want to be clean. But also, show. Yeah, that's it. Show. The show must go on. We'll make it happen. Back to coffee. I love coffee. I don't love coffee enough to start getting a French press and making it myself. I don't think I'm going to get into that angle, but I am going to enjoy coffee. Let's put it that way. All right, you guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Shout out to Bob McKnight. Thank you for producing the podcast. Follow him on Instagram. I think it's producer_Bob. And I think on Twitter, Twitter, he's over there. It's Podcasting Bob over there. Anyway, his name's Bob. You can find him. I appreciate you, Bob. And if you want to follow what we do, come to the Mike Herrera Podcast Facebook group. That's a great place to come if you want to find our community. I've been a little absent from it. I apologize, but it's not always like that. It's just because I'm doing my songwriting. You know, I've got my routine. I can't go into the message room and do all these comments when I'm writing or I'm gonna write. You get it. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. Like I said, please subscribe to my YouTube. Is TikTok going to get banned in April? Is that going to be banned? Is that done? We done with TikTok? Is that over? TikTok. Call in. The number is 360-830-6660. And I'll leave you with this one thing. If TikTok is banned, that means also CapCut is going to be gone. And CapCut is a program that a lot of us podcasters use to just do our clips, make clips for social media. It's a video editing app. It's really good. I used to use this app called Focus Live, and I love it. I still love it, but they don't update it. They won't update it, and it's got bugs, so many bugs that it's almost unusable. So I switched over to CapCut, and it's great. There's plenty of great things about it. I actually subscribe to the pro version, so I've got all the bells and whistles and whatever. But when the TikTok ban happened a few months ago, CapCut was also gone, and there is nothing else like it. Unfortunately, there's nothing quite like it. There's other editing programs, but nothing like CapCut. I don't know. All I say is, while it's still there, CapCut is probably the best thing you can get. I use Final Cut Pro to edit. That's on my computer. But also on CapCut on the computer, it's great too. So I mean, just I don't know. They're owned by TikTok, which is why they got banned as well. What are your thoughts on the TikTok ban? What are your thoughts on that whole situation? They don't have to be educated. I mean, honestly, I feel like there's so many good points on both sides. One, I don't really feel like the government should be dictating what I can and can't see. But two, I also don't want a foreign government infiltrating the citizens of my country and stealing their identity, stealing their data, stealing all their data points, and building files on everybody. You know, like, so I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theory person or whatever, but there is reality to all of these situations. Now, does it matter? I don't know. I'm not sure. I've always been pro privacy. I've been pro free speech. I've been pro do what you want. You know, just don't hurt others and don't steal other people's property. And I think there is no perfect world. There's no perfect place in the world. I mean, Bremerton's close, but we do the best we can, you know, with what we got. And I just thank everybody for being cool. You know, I really don't worry too much about one or two haters. In fact, I think it's good for the culture, right? But I appreciate that there only are usually one or two haters out there for MXPX, for me, for whatever we're doing. So much positivity in our culture, what I mean by culture, our community, the one that we are part of, punk rock, MXPX, the Mike Herrera podcast, you know, this community. Thank you for being a bright spot in the lives of not just myself, but each other. I love it. I love to see it. So if you're struggling out there, please reach out to get on the Facebook page, start making posts, reach out to us. There are a lot of great people in this community that will be there to help. All right. Peace. Oh, did I mention MXPX.com for merch? We got vinyl too.